Hello, scholars, and welcome back. It's week 4 of POL452 Organizational Theory and Design. I'm sorry I'm a day late in getting this video out to you. It's been a busy week for me, as I'm certain it's probably a busy week for all of us. As we get ready to talk about week 4, I want to reflect a little bit on our previous weeks and maybe go over a concept that has been reoccurring that I want to for some clarification. As I was reading through your discussion forums from last week, especially when we were talking about the theories behind the org theories and our different theorists that put these theories together. Many of you wrote that it's hard to apply these various theories to my organization, that they don't apply or that many of them apply. And that is so true. And that is going to be the case with almost all of the theories that we are going to talk about. So let's understand the broad concept of organizational theory. Many people make the connection between organizational theory and leadership theory. Many of us have read books on leadership, just as now many of us are starting to read maybe books on organizational theory. And if we look at a book on leadership and organizational theory, we know that there's a definite connection because most of it is conceptual. If I were to look for a book on leadership and I were to search, if I were to go to Google and search books on leadership, they say that there are more books on leadership than on any other book that Google offers. That more books are published annually on leadership than any other topic. And almost every book on leadership starts with the first chapter trying to define what leadership is. It's because for so many of us, not only is leadership such a complicated subject, but many of us, we don't even know how to define leadership. And then from what it goes on in most leadership books is it doesn't tell us how to be a good leader. It just kind of describes what are the attributes of a good leader and a bad leader. And a lot of that concepts of leadership applies to organizational theory. There isn't a one size fits all approach to leadership, as many of us know, just as there's not a one size fits all concept to organizational theory. And just like leadership, what we're going to do is we're going to point out to you a lot of different theories of what makes a good leader. And in this class, we are going to point out a lot of organizational concepts. Now, not all of these will apply to your organization. Not all of them are applicable. And maybe, actually, in essence, it is going to be a culmination of all these different principles that when you put those together, you will actually be able to do something at your organization. But like many of the classes that you're going to take here at Cal Baptist, they are going to be theory-based. And with these theories, that you are now going to understand the concepts of a theory, and you're going to use that theory and apply it or be able to look at your organization through the lens of that theory. And you're going to see, does this hold true to my organization? Does it not hold true? When combined with other theories, can I take all these concepts together and either identify the strengths of my organization, the weaknesses of my organization, and build upon them? So those are the concepts, all these building blocks that we're going to use weekly and collectively in this class to change an organization, or at least not so much to change an organization, but to be able to utilize that knowledge and to identify and recognize organizational concepts. So this week we're going to take many of those that we're going to build upon that concept, and we're going to look at culture and ethics. So this week we have an introduction. There's a quick read on introduction on what we have going here in week 4, especially focusing on our ethics and the culture. And then we have 2 readings this week. In our Implementing Organizational Change in the Spectre book, we're going to be reading chapter 5. And in the Sims book, Managing Organizational Behavior, we're going to be in chapter 12. With this, I have the PowerPoints. That's built in on organizational culture and ethics. Like always, I say open up that PowerPoint, look at the key concepts, do your reading, and where you see these kind of concepts being both in the PowerPoint and in your book, it's obviously something that should be standing out. And the Spectre PowerPoints that came with the text as well. So now let's look at the deliverables as we continue with a little of our lecture concepts this week. So this week we're looking at ethics, and what I want you to do is I want you to find an actual code of ethics. If we're talking about organizational cultures and we're talking about the importance of ethics, what I want you to do is to say, do organizations actually have codes of ethics? Now, for many of you working in the public sector versus the private sector, there might not be, for a lot of you in the private sector, you might not find a code of ethics. So you might have to search for a public agency or an elected body to find so. But if you have one at your agency, that would be my first stop. And if not, then hey, I'm going to have to search for them. For myself working here, working for the city of Riverside, each one of our organizations has an umbrella code of ethics, and a lot of that encompasses all city employees. And then typically, based upon your independent department, there might be a individual code of ethics. Obviously, for some of our like our law enforcement, the attorney's office, they might have a more stringent code of ethics. They might even be bound but legally under a code of ethics. So I want you to go look and find the code of ethics. And then once you find it, I want you to review it for clarity, comprehensiveness, and especially this right here, the ability to enforce. Sometimes in public organizations or in government, we create documents that really have no use. They say, oh, your organization needs a code of ethics. You should put a code of ethics together. And then at the end of the day, you read through it, and people wonder, is this even enforceable? Is it applicable? Or is it actually utilized? So I would want you to look through those, and I want you, if you can, provide me the link or the copy of it, so that I can take a look at these as well, and just write and evaluate it based on its clarity, comprehensiveness, and ability to be enforced. And about 400 words, I think you can do that. And I always look forward to this because, one, does one even exist? I like to see the differences in different organizations. Sometimes in some are very extensive, very detailed, and others are very ambiguous. So I look forward to this. And remember, on the organizational side, not only do I want you to locate one and say, hey, here it is, and here's the breakdown, but is it applicable and would it work within the organization? What is the purpose behind having this code of ethics? Why do they have a code of ethics? Is it measurable? Can it be enforced? And if not, why does one even have it? And especially this is applicable in today's world, especially for some of you government employees, with some of the bad ethical decision making that is occurring. So I want to see your insight and your connection on that. Classic case study talking about Taylor and his scientific theory. We have just kind of a lighthearted Charlie Chaplin. So for some of you, you won't even know this is in black and white. They don't talk. It's for some of you won't even understand why it's in this way. But just a classic concept of the assembly line mentality. Taylor's scientific method. So more just a little lighthearted link for you to watch. Then I have a video this week that is profit versus purpose, and it's going to directly relate to our discussion board. It's a quick video, but I think there's going to be some very insightful information that we can talk about that week, and then we'll work our way right in there. So profit versus purpose. So watch the video and then respond to it. Write at least 250 words by Friday night in response to the video clip in this week's learning. Respond to 2 others. And I just want you to analyze your thoughts or your opinions based upon the video. And it's kind of going to be kind of self-explanatory when you watch the video. I just want your thoughts, your belief. Is it applicable to our organizations? Is it not applicable to our organizations? Especially when we have this concept of profit versus purpose. And then we have our quiz number 4, multiple choice, true and false based upon the readings. And then the looking ahead with our critical assignment. Remember, week 4, week 7, when these things are due, are going to be here, or in essence, week 8, but we know that it's more of at the end of week 7 is going to be here before we know it. And just to read through, I want us to make sure that we're making all these connections. We're finding our organization, and we're going to illustrate how we are going to make change within this organization. Remember, if you haven't already read through this is going to be a narrated PowerPoint presentation. I'm actually want to hear you, not how you can put your thoughts on paper, but how you can articulate what we have learned this week or this class, what we have gained from this week or this class, once again, and how we can apply it to our organization. So you're going to put together a narrated PowerPoint to me and send that to me, and then I'm going to review that. So I really look forward to that because in one way, I like to see the culmination of this class where we all put those thoughts together, but I also really like to hear you articulate the concepts and with your own individual organizations, especially since all of our organizations are so diverse, so diverse. So I hope that that is clear this week what we're looking for in week 4. I just ask you to just continue the effort. I know that for many of us, we're taking multiple classes. We have careers. We have families. We have a lot of outside influences that are pulling us in many different directions. And I just hope that we stay focused and understand that we need to maintain that discipline that is what is going to make us successful in this class. So continue the hard work. If you have any questions at all, get a hold of me. Send me an email. If I'm not hearing from you, the expectation is that you are doing incredibly well. And I just hope that you all have a blessed week. And I look forward to reading all of your assignments here for week 4. If you need me at all, get a hold of me. But bye for now.